welcome back to another video. My name is Aaron and I help people expand their consciousness. Now in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you 3 beliefs that if we change absolutely everything about what we experience. Now the context for this video is that our beliefs are creating the kind of experiences that we have, and that when we get to the core of what we believe to be true, and then that's where we change what we believe, then the external can begin to reflect that, because at the fundamental basis, that's what external reality is it's a reflection of who we are being, it's a reflection of what we believe to be true, and that's why the most important thing we can do is to go within and then understand how we can take action to then realign ourselves with who we prefer to be. Now, the first belief I have for you is more of a blanket belief. This can run through many different areas of our life, whether it be finances, relationships, or health, and making this one change can change absolutely everything about what you experience, and it did for me especially. So it has to do with understanding that we can choose and see everything that we experience as a choice. Now, the belief that this changes is that things are happening to us. Now, when we realize that we can act as if we chose it, it changes everything about the interaction. It allows us to then take our power back and then start to act from a point of where we are empowered. Anytime something is happening to us, even in just the language alone, it's showing us that we are in victim mode and that there is really just nothing we can do about it. Now, let's look at this example. We could look at an example of I have to go to my job. We can say that, or which one feels more powerful? I choose to go to my job. Now, this was something for me that I felt resistance to, was going to a job, especially because I wanted to work for myself. I didn't want to have to necessarily report to someone and work 40 hours a week. Now, when initially I was looking at the perspective I had and why I felt so much resistance to going to work, it was mainly because I was coming at it from a point of I have to go to work. Now, when I became aware of this, I realized that I could say I choose to go to work, and then it makes the interaction a lot easier. I'm able to enjoy myself a lot better, and my state of being changes while I'm there. Now, on another note, it allows me the opportunity to redefine, do I need to go to a job, or are there other opportunities for me to create my own income, for my own systems, for me to do what I want full time? You see, the first off, the simple awareness of that definition and the switching of that is where everything begins to change, because then it's not that I have to go to a job, it's just that my current level of beliefs about who I am entail the programming of, growing up and always having a job and being bought into that perspective, versus there are another perspective to where I can create that for myself by putting out content, working with people, and things of that nature. So the idea is that when I begin to become aware of it, I change the definition to then see that I choose to, then I can choose something else. So you can apply this towards anything. Do you attract certain people in your life that are vibing with you? Or do you attract certain people that always reaffirm some self-fulfilling prophecy, like guys always treat me like this, or there's only this type of girls out there? When you start to change these definitions and these self-fulfilling prophecies, and you change the way that you language it, that's where everything begins to change. So realize, even at subconscious levels, you may be choosing something subconsciously, but when you become aware of that, you bring it into the conscience, and then that's where everything begins to change, because first off, it changes your state of being. You then allow it more than resistant. Then you can see other perspectives and you can see other opportunities. Now, the second belief is thinking and believing that there is any inherent meaning that is built into what you experience. Now, the power of this is switching that to understand that you are giving the meaning to the things that happen in your life, that there is no built-in meaning other than the meaning that you give it. Now, this can be both very empowering, but also give us the ability to sabotage ourselves, because then when we become aware that we have that power, sometimes it can allow us to then, in a way, think and start to think of the opposite of what we want, thinking that that almost has power over us, which goes back to the first one. But the power of this is in knowing that we, based upon the meaning we're giving things, the idea of a rainy day isn't a negative thing, it isn't a positive thing, it just is, based upon our reference experiences with it and what we label it or define it to be true, that will influence the emotional response that we get and the meaning that we give behind it. Now, this is a very powerful thing because you can start to define certain aspects of your life in a very powerful way. For example, if you were to lose your job, an example, you could, from one perspective, be focused on that was something that's very negative, that was something that happened to you, going back to the first one. But instead, what you can realize is that everything is neutral and that you can choose the positive benefit from it, you can choose the benefit that it can give you or the lesson that you can learn from it. So for me, a very powerful book that I read a long time ago was Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. And I always remember this one saying in it, which has to do with in every negative situation, there is a seed that is planted of equal or greater growth or positive opportunity from it. The idea behind this is that just shifting your perspective and knowing that you are infusing the meaning into what you experience, that then based on that, you will get the effect on it that you give. So this also goes back to a self-fulfilling prophecy. If losing your job, and once again look at the definition of losing the job, that kind of implies that there was something to be lost and it was something very valuable. When you then realize you can shift the perspective over to something that's much more empowering, or you can let it be an opportunity for you to then find something you're more passionate about, or to create a system of abundance for you, or many different perspectives, but you can start to look at it and you can reframe it in a very powerful way. I would say reframing is the most powerful way to change the meaning of what we experience in our life. And that's something that can change everything once you begin to apply it. Now, the third belief is thinking and believing that the future is fixed. Now realize first off that the only moment that exists is this moment right now, that the only way we can imagine the future is through using our mind and our imagination, and the only way that we can remember our past is through our mind. It's not like we can actually go back and experience our past, although from certain energetic levels, if people are so identified with it, they may attract to themselves very similar situations of that energy. But realize that the only moment that exists is now, and that when you come from this place and you start to take action from this place, that is what prepaves the future experiences that you have. Now, the reason I go like this is because the future is not set. If you go to somebody and they tell you that they know your future, realize that there is certain momentum in certain directions based upon who we're being in the present moment. So for example, if my intention, my goals, and I'm putting all my action into creating for myself something where I can travel and speak and do what I want for a living, there's a higher momentum that will happen because of my present actions. But that future is not set. It's more about the present energy of who you are being. Now, this is very empowering because sometimes I hear of people who hear something, whether it be from someone that's clairvoyant or they just, have a certain perspective with that. And you can use it as a powerful tool if that's something that you want to experience, but realize that the future is not set. You are not destined for any failure that you think is going to happen. It's all about the actions, the emotions, the state of being that you're in right now in this moment. And when you start to come at it from this frame, that's when everything begins to change, because then you see that you have an ability to change who you are being in the present moment. You can take massive action to then get what you want to experience in your life, or to just really be who you prefer, and that from that place everything begins to change. So simply remember that these things can profoundly change the kind of experiences that you have. All you have to do is realize and treat everything that happens as a choice. That changes the energy and allows you to more embody it from a deeper level. You can realize that everything in life is fundamentally neutral, that when we choose to reframe it as to something that is positive, we start to get that effect out of it. And then as we begin to just embody who we prefer to be by realizing that the present moment is the key and that the future is not set, so it's all about who we are being in the present moment. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Feel free to like this video if you liked it, subscribe if you haven't already, and as always, I will see you guys on the next vid. Peace, much love, namaste. All right, bye.